That short exchange captured the essence of Judith Sheindlin, the woman the world came to know as Judge Judy. For over 25 years, she wasn't just a television judge. She was a cultural force. A sharp tongue, a no-nonsense attitude, and an unshakable sense of justice made her daytime television royalty. Millions of Americans tuned in every single day, not for flashy drama or exaggerated performances, but to see a real judge, with real authority, cut through the lies and nonsense of everyday disputes. Her signature glare, her razor-sharp comebacks, and her tough presence became unforgettable. But behind the robe and the gavel was a woman whose life story is as fascinating as the empire she built. And today, we'll uncover not just her rise to fame, but also the truth of what happened when the cameras stopped rolling, and how life after the spotlight wasn't as golden as it seemed. Judith Susan Sheindlin was born on October 21, 1942, in Brooklyn, New York. Her father was a dentist, her mother a homemaker, and from early on, young Judy learned that discipline, hard work, and resilience weren't just ideals, they were survival. Unlike many children, Judy was outspoken, bold, and unafraid to challenge authority. Traits that could get her into trouble at home, but would later become her trademark in court. She pursued a degree in government from American University in Washington, D.C., and then went on to graduate from New York Law School in 1965. By the age of just 23, she had passed the bar exam and was working as a practicing attorney in New York City. Her first steps into law began in corporate work, but that quiet, paper-driven life didn't suit her fiery personality. She needed something raw, something real, and soon pivoted into criminal law. By 1972, she was appointed as a prosecutor in New York's family court system, where the cases weren't about corporate deals or money, they were about broken families, neglected children, and painful custody battles. Here, Judy found her true calling. She was direct, unfiltered, and brutally honest. While other lawyers danced around the truth, Judy cut straight through. She didn't sugarcoat, she didn't soften. She demanded respect and accountability. Her reputation grew quickly. So much so that in 1982, New York's mayor appointed her as a judge in the family court. In the courtroom, she became infamous for her refusal to tolerate excuses. Lawyers who wasted her time were shut down. Defendants who lied were exposed within seconds. Her tough, almost intimidating presence earned her the title of the toughest judge in New York. By the early 1990s, newspapers were writing profiles on her, fascinated by her style. It wasn't long before television producers realized that her raw, authentic courtroom presence could become something bigger. In 1996, after years of real-life legal battles, Judge Judy traded the courthouse for the soundstage. And with that, daytime television changed forever. When Judge Judy premiered in September of that year, no one could have predicted the juggernaut it would become. The show's format was simple: small claims disputes, real people, and Judy in the center, slicing through the lies with surgical precision. But what made it special wasn't the format. It was Judy herself. Witty, sharp, and unapologetically blunt, she delivered rulings that felt less like TV entertainment and more like life lessons. Her catchphrases, "Don't pee on my leg and tell me it's raining," or "Beauty fades, dumb is forever," weren't just punchlines. They became part of pop culture. People quoted her at dinner tables, in offices, even in schools. Soon, the show wasn't just a hit. It was a cultural phenomenon. By the late 1990s, Judge Judy was one of the most watched shows on television, rivaling even Oprah. By the mid-2000s, it pulled in over 10 million viewers daily. Syndicated television had never seen anything like it. For CBS, the show was a gold mine. And for Judy, it was the role of a lifetime. Her salary reflected her unmatched success. By 2012, she was earning a staggering $47 million a year, more than talk show giants like Oprah or Ellen, and even more than primetime network anchors. She wasn't just a judge. She was the highest-paid woman on television. Judge Judy became a global brand. She was parodied on Saturday Night Live, referenced in sitcoms, and appeared in commercials. She also became a best-selling author, publishing books with her sharp humor and life lessons. Yet she always insisted that what you saw on TV wasn't an act. She wasn't playing a role. The no-nonsense Judy on screen was the same Judy who once ruled New York's family courts. But while her empire flourished, the pressures behind the scenes were heavy. Production days were grueling, with Judy presiding over a dozen cases in a single day. For viewers, it seemed seamless, but in reality, it was mentally exhausting. Over the years, whispers emerged of conflicts with producers, lawsuits involving staff, and accusations of a toxic work environment. Judy, however, never apologized for her toughness. "If you're not pulling your weight, you're out," she famously said. Still, even Judy couldn't escape the strain. By the late 2010s, tensions with CBS reached a breaking point. Disputes over the ownership of thousands of Judge Judy episodes, an archive worth hundreds of millions, left Judy at odds with the very network that had made her a star. And in 2020, after 25 years on the air, she announced the show was ending. Fans were devastated. For many, Judy wasn't just another TV personality. She was part of their daily lives. Determined not to let her legacy fade, Judy launched Judy Justice on Amazon's streaming service in 2021. On paper, it seemed like a continuation of her empire. But the world had changed. Streaming audiences were younger, less loyal, and far less interested in courtroom shows. Ratings were decent, but nowhere near the cultural dominance of her original series. For Judy, it was a sobering reminder that lightning rarely strikes twice. Her fame, once untouchable, began to fade. Headlines about her became rare. Her name no longer dominated the media. She retreated into her private life, dividing her time between her homes in Naples, Florida, Greenwich, Connecticut, and Beverly Hills. On the surface, it was the dream: retirement, wealth, luxury, and family. But for someone who had thrived on the energy of millions tuning in each day, the silence was deafening. Health concerns also began to catch up with her. In 2011, she collapsed while filming, later calling it a mini-stroke. Though she brushed it off, it was a reminder that even the sharpest minds are not invincible. As she entered her 80s, exhaustion and the realities of aging became unavoidable. Friends described her as restless, pacing around her lavish homes, struggling to fill the void left by her absence from the spotlight. Her marriage to Jerry Scheindlin, though long-lasting, wasn't without challenges. They divorced briefly in 1990 before remarrying a year later. Her 5 children and 13 grandchildren gave her joy, but Judy admitted she regretted the years lost to her relentless career. Even with nearly $500 million to her name, Judy couldn't escape the loneliness that came with stepping out of the public eye. For decades, she was America's judge. A voice of authority. A cultural icon. But in the end, Judy's story is a reminder that fame is fleeting, wealth can't buy time, and even the toughest voices eventually grow quiet. Judge Judy once said, "Don't try to teach a pig to sing. It wastes your time and annoys the pig." For millions, her words cut through lies and nonsense. But today, her silence cuts even deeper, because it reminds us that even legends cannot escape the weight of time.